because people just by filling out the survey felt like their voice was going to be heard. The very first time we put out the survey, we got these, oh my God, I cannot believe we're actually doing this. This is amazing. Thank you. Because people just by filling out the survey felt like their voice was going to be heard. So that was the first time, and that's before I was ever in the role. But since I've taken over the role, we have been able to actually share in our annual report all of the great things that our Diversio census, we call it our LGD EDI census, has been able to do. So for example, through Diversio, we were able to get our Disability and Inclusion Network started, our ERG started. And that's because when we saw the data, that was a group of folks that felt unsafe at work and felt that that their inclusion score was the lowest. So we thought that that's someplace that we had to target. And so we have our own Disability and Inclusion Network now, and that ERG as a whole is a great story to tell from that, you know, people, because we're transparent. Obviously, we share this data. As soon as we get it from you folks, we share it. And folks just automatically look to see, well, how can we improve? And so the folks who are right now on this Disability and Inclusion Network are so grateful that they have a space to be themselves, a space to help develop policy, help for folks to actually do what they need to do to get, you know, people with disabilities feel more included at work, and for us to actually hire more folks with physical and mental disabilities. So I have tons of stories. I have, I know for me, for example, when I met Anya and Laura face to face for the first time, that's when I was just like, shoot, what am I doing? And so I started with Jessica Briscoe at the time and Brian Canalang. We developed the the Cultural Diversity Network. Because for us, that was one of the things that we knew just by looking that we didn't have a lot of people of color in those senior leadership positions. So we started our Cultural Diversity Network, and that was a personal inspiration I had just after chatting with Anya and Laura, because I go into every division to share the Diversio census results. And when I do it, people go in and I'm telling them real life stories and comments. And when I share with them, you know, things that other folks have been doing or how people have been feeling and what a group of people feel, all of a sudden that emotional connection comes. And so people want to do more. And so another success story is we have our governance, legal, and compliance group. That group started up their own sort of inclusion project within their group, and their inclusion scores went from like they increased 11 points year over year because they started doing the work. They started onboarding new employees better. They started having taking time to have like separate conversations on what it feels like being a person across a different diversity dimension that what shows up at work. And so even recently, they pulled me up for a meeting because Black History Month is coming up. They helped me get them some Black lawyers to speak to their small group to celebrate Black History Month as well. So they're always thinking.